relationship like with the new lady? Because you haven't had one in quite a while. That was in tea.
Pretty steamy.
For you. Pretty
steamy. Yeah. We read 50 Shades of Grey to each other. No, I'm just teasing.
Are you petitioning for Christian Grey right now?
I'm certainly not. I actually haven't even read it. But no, I do know the reference, which is saying something. If you haven't read a book and you know the reference, the relationship between Sam and Amelia, which I really enjoy, is done in retrospect, and so it's done mostly in flashbacks. And we will get into later in the season real-time relationship. But I've kind of been not petitioning in the literal term, in the literal sense of the word, but vocal about, like, guys, I love when shows will go back, kind of show what's happened, and I've loved the episodes of Supernatural that have done it, like I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I've loved episodes that have gone back in time and told a cool story that you can't tell in the present tense as well as you can tell in reflection. And so we see a lot of Sam and Amelia, is the character's name, in flashbacks, which is nice because we also see Dean and what he kind of did in his flashbacks. And so they're nice kind of very opposite sides of the coin, where one guy is happy and content and living a, quote, supernatural Winchester normal life, and the other is in purgatory, fighting for his life. So we see Sam and Amelia kind of develop this relationship. They're both misfits. They've both gone through loss, and they're both not outcasts so much, but they're brought together by a bizarre set of extenuating circumstances, and they find each other's arms and each other's minds and say, this is good, what we've got. Why look a gift horse in the mouth? Let's just kind of go with it. And so we see glimpses of it. And at first, maybe I become like a fangirl of the show, but I was like, a girl for Sam? Like, what's he doing? But as I kind of learned about the relationship, I was so happy to explore that role and that character. And Sam, from the get, has been hoping to kind of reinvent himself as the person that he always thought he was, which is kind of a backward speak. But he was the one who in the pilot wanted to stay in college. He was at Stanford hoping for his MCATs or what LSATs to come back and have a good score. So he's always kind of fought for the normal life. And he's always fought for kind of the relationship. Not always to his credit, because he's taken some wrong turns. But I got married, so it's fine. Sorry, tangent. But we basically find out in retrospect what's happened. So as the show opens, the relationship's in the past, but it's still on Sam's mind.
So part 2 then, transitioning from that, I mean, how willing is he to just jump right back into the old life after a year of having... Oh.
Yeah, not willing. Not to interrupt, but I feel like he's not willing. He, once again, has... I think Sam in this season is different than Sam in other seasons where Dean was either in hell or where Sam was in hell, or... Usually when they've been split up, there's been sort of the impetus of, like, well, my brother's in trouble. I've got to save him. I've got to help him. He's got to help me. He's going to save me. But here, Sam is like, you know what? I was in a room. Dick Roman vanished, and Castiel vanished. Kevin Tran is gone. I have no Bobby. I have no Misha. I have no nothing. I'm going to take off the hunter garb and just live a normal life because I have nothing tying me back. There's no Joe. There's no Harvell's Roadhouse. There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing holding Sam back from a normal life. So he really commits to it, and so when it all comes crashing back down, it's like a brutal reminder yet again of who he kind of has been and is possibly meant to be. He isn't so happy about it. I mean, he's been living a pretty good, contented life for a while, catching flies out of the air.
Like Breaking Bad on Netflix, like everything.
Did it all. Sons of Anarchy, God rest his soul. Seriously, bizarre. Tangent.
So then piggybacking off that, how is his relationship? Because he's sort of kicking and screaming, not wanting to go back in the old life. Mm-hmm. But how does that affect his relationship with Dean too? Is there resentment on Dean? That Sam was able to do that normal life that Dean tried but couldn't feel normalized.
I think Sam, in a weird way, Sam's kind of the adult in this reconciliation. Where he's like, look, I found my own thing. I love you. You're my brother. I'm so happy you're back, and I'm going to help you now, but I want out. I want out. I love you. It's great. I'm grateful that you've saved my life many times, and vice versa. But it's not that I don't need you, but I don't need you. And I know that now. No hard feelings. And so Sam is kind of at a place where he wants to move on to something different, and not to any discredit of Dean, or not that it belittles their relationship or his feelings for his brother or his past with his brother. But I think Dean resents Sam more because, like I touched on earlier, Sam was living a good, kosher life down in Kermit, Texas, with a girl that he fell in love with and a dog, and Dean was fighting for his life. And so Sam doesn't resent that Dean wasn't helping out because Sam didn't need help at the time when Dean needed help for that year. And so Sam is saying, listen, let bygones be bygones. I'll help you out. When this is done, I'm out. For real, I've experienced life without hunting at all. Even when he was in college, he still had that looming over his head. Dad's out there, Dean's out there, there are hunters out there. But this is the first time we've seen Sam actually have no anchor holding him back to the hunting life. And so when he experiences that, he wants to move on. And so when they reconcile, or actually just reconvene, I guess is probably a more accurate term, Dean is going, dude, I never stopped. I mean, I know I vanished, but I kept hunting, and I kept trying to find you and help you. Like, what did you do? And Sam's like, well, I did only thing I could do. I didn't have anybody to call. I didn't have any phones. I just tried to live a life. And so there are no hard feelings on Sam's part, but there is certainly a bit of it's a bone of contention for Dean.
Since Dean's going to be coming back with all of these issues and dealing with what's essentially PTSD and all of that, what is Sam's reaction to Dean specifically going to be?
No, I think his reaction is Sam certainly can't make light or belittle what Dean's going through, and he gets it, and he understands that what Dean feels is very real, and what he went through is very real. But Sam's moved on, and it's not he's not moved on to hurt Dean or to piss him off. It's not like, I don't need you. He's just like, guy, I love you. It's great. I'm glad we spent a lot of great years together. You saved me, I saved you, went through some hard times together, but it's not me anymore. Like, it's just purely not. And I know because unlike high school, unlike college, unlike Jess, unlike Ruby, it's not that I was searching for something and avoiding what was going on. There was nothing else going on. So I found out who I was without Bobby calling, without Samuel Campbell around the corner and the cousins. I mean, there was nobody. They're all gone and dead. And so I went off on a tangent. What was I was going to bring back?
How's he going to react to Dean?
I think the way he's just going to specifically react to Dean is just try and help him out in the task at hand, and hopefully then do his own thing again. He's not going to leave him hanging and go like, I found happiness, have fun. He's going to go like, okay, I get it. I do owe you this. You've certainly done for me a lot more than anybody else has, and vice versa, but you've earned this, so I'll help. And this also, we both believe that we're onto something that will end our hunting careers forever. So Sam's like, you know what? Perfect, because I know what it's like to not have an anchor into the hunting aspect of life. So I would love to actually not have a need for that hunting aspect of life. And if this can solve that, then I'm in.